Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today we are back with a London review. You can tell she's in London, she's at her beloved Strand Palace hotel, and today we are going to discuss the one, the only Sylvia currently playing at the Old Vic. So if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on this show, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 seconds. So before we get into it, firstly, hello, if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Claire and this is Open Roads and Theatre Seats, where we talk about theatre related fun frolics. I review, we chat, sometimes we do like quizzes, etc. We haven't done a quiz here yet, but I'm just putting the feelers out. And we also do the odd travel vlog. Woo! But today, as I said, we're discussing Sylvia currently playing at the Old Vic. This is a show that I have been wanting to see, thanks to the hype, for so long. Since it first got workshopped, I was like, okay, I'm hearing all this good stuff, I need to go and experience it. Missed all of the workshops and the last time round, and then it was announced it was coming back, and it was coming back with Beverly Knight, and I was like, okay, we all know I love Beverly Knight. She was the main reason I went to go watch the Drifters Girls. I kind of need to go and see this show, so I did. I bought myself a ticket and it was an experience. The lady behind me, there was a group of old ladies, or older ladies should I say, behind me, and they summed it up brilliantly, in which they said, wow, that was exhausting but it was really good. And that 100% just like summed up my experience of this show. I'll get into why as we go through, but this show, if you don't know Sylvia tells the story of one of the lesser known Pankhursts. In fact, I didn't even know there was more than one Pankhurst. Everyone's heard of Emmeline, not many have heard of the younger daughters. This show is based on Sylvia. I feel like this story and this show kind of highlighted how little I know about this era of history. For me personally, I am aware of the suffragette movement, but I don't know the ins and the outs. I only know the bits that horrible histories tell you. That's my kind of knowledge going in, which is really truly embarrassing, but it was what I was taught at school. And yeah, school when I was growing up was much more interested in the likes of the Romans or the Greeks or ancient history, and not the more up-to-date stuff. So like I said, this story based itself on Sylvia, who is still at the heart of that suffragette movement along with her mother and her sisters, but she is more of the socialist and the pacifist, and just being more for everybody, including women, instead of just women and violence, which is how the second act kind of goes. A little bit more information: the book and the lyrics of this show have been written by Kate Prince, and the music is by Josh Cohen and DJ Wald. This show, I was trying to explain it to my friend on the walk home, I would class this as kind of Hamilton in musical style, but mixed with the feeling and the power of Amelia, the play. That's the kind of vibe I got from it. I will have to say that the music for me ranged. I feel like it's definitely a soundtrack I'd like to listen to more. There were some songs that I really enjoyed and felt the true emotion of. Act 1's finale is a key point and a key like proof of that fact, because the Act 1 finale hits you so hard. You literally need that 20-minute interval to like reason in your brain with what you just experienced. It's so unbelievably powerful, and from memory there's not a lot of like instruments behind. It's more a cappella, it's more just those women's voices being raised in peaceful protest, and it was just so unbelievably powerful and amazing. Sticking creatively, just wanted to mention the set and costume, which has been designed by Ben Stones. I literally wrote in my notes, simple but powerful, and that hands down explains everything. If you haven't seen the set, I'll try and put a picture of it before the curtain raised, but it's basically just a square box with steps, but things move around, and it's just, the space is just worked so well for this performance and this production, and I truly enjoyed watching it. And the same with the costumes. For the most part, everybody is in like a white top, black skirt or trousers, and it's just very cleverly done, and just visually brilliant. Add on top of that the video and animation, which works alongside it, which has been done by Andre Goulding, and I hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly. It just works so well, and there are elements that kind of were just so cleverly done that you would almost miss them. There is a death in Act 1, and the actor who dies, I'm not going to say who in case it spoils your experience, but firstly you are hit with the grief of the death, and then the actor ascends up to the top of the stairs towards the back wall where his imprint or his silhouette is left as he departs, and then the silhouette fades away, and I was just like, that is it's like so cleverly done, so amazing. Finally, on the creative side, I did just want to mention direction and choreography has been done by Kate Prince, and having the same person do both is just brilliant because it helps mold both bits together, and it is again relatively simplistic, a lot of like jerky movements. I am terrible at dance, so I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it, but it was just brilliantly done. It works well with the music, the musical style, and I just, before I dig myself a choreography hole, I'm going to move on. I'm just going to say it was really, really good. Now let's move on to that glorious cast. Each member of that cast was so brilliant and so hardworking. Behind the scenes, because obviously for the most part you literally see what's in that square box, behind the scenes there must be so much like costume changes and moving around, and like the behind the scenes of this show must be so interesting to watch, and not all costume changes are done off stage. There are coats and things, sorry for the outside noise, there are coats and such like stored on the sides of the stage, and yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. In fact, let's big up the cast. I literally have the cast list here. I'm going to just hold it in place, pause it or go back if you will, if you need to, but each member of that cast were absolutely incredible and just a joy to watch. But wouldn't be me and a maybe video without a few mentions. Firstly, one that I didn't actually write on my list, but I did want to quickly mention, and that is Jay Perry. Jay plays two roles in Act 1 / part of Act 2. He plays Winston Churchill, who I completely didn't realise his part in this story until I sat in that seat. And he also plays the role of George Lansbury in Act 2, who is the complete opposite of his Act 1 / other character of Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is kind of the baddie of the piece. He is fully against change and women getting power until towards the end. Small spoiler, sorry. But both roles he played absolutely brilliantly, and his work was top notch. There we go, I just had to say that one. But my other mentions go to the Pankhursts themselves, all 4 of them. So we have Beverly Knight, who plays Emmeline Pankhurst. We have Adela Pankhurst, who's played by Kirsty Skivington. We have Christabel Pankhurst, who's played by Eleanor Vincent. And we have, playing the title role of Sylvia Pankhurst, Sharon Rose. Each one of those Pankhursts had a completely different vibe about them, but they work so well as a quartet unit. Firstly, Beverly Knight, powerful woman, powerful voice, powerful human being. And again, she was absolutely amazing. I feel like from where I was sat, her voice kind of was lost at times. And I do feel that about quite a lot of the cast. I feel like I may have missed some things just because I couldn't quite hear them, which is quite a little bit upsetting. But it was so interesting to watch Beverly Knight in this role, because her role as Emmeline Pankhurst goes from that person you kind of know the story of in Act 1, the woman who is striving forth to get everything she believes that women should get, to her part in the second act, where she almost becomes kind of like the villain. She becomes, in a way, a bit too powerful, and it's really interesting to watch her go through that, to the point towards the end I was kind of like, do I dislike Emmeline Pankhurst now? Or is she just misunderstood? It raises many questions in your brain, and I like that. I like that kind of theatre, because I'm still thinking about it now. Eleanor Vincent as Christabel Pankhurst was absolutely phenomenal. I literally, for the whole time I was sat in my seat, I was like, where do I know you from? I've looked through her like previous work and I have not seen her in anything, but she was absolutely brilliant. How she became pretty much the right hand woman of Emmeline Pankhurst by the end of the second act. It was just a brilliant like journey through the entire show, and she was absolutely amazing at it. Kirsty Skivington, who I haven't seen since the Anne Juliet days, did an amazing performance again as Adela. I loved again watching her journey through the entire show, because again, she comes from quite the quiet younger sister to actually breaking free in Act 2. I just enjoyed again watching her journey throughout the show. And finally, the final Pankhurst, Sylvia, played by Sharon Rose, as previously mentioned, was absolutely outstanding. Especially Act 2. I was completely like rooting for her throughout the entirety of the show, as you should. The show is called Sylvia, but I feel like her true story and her true like brilliance comes out in Act 2, for the reason that I just feel like Emmeline kind of takes the back step and it's more about Sylvia's story. It's kind of like Act 1 is the background, Act 2 is the like true story of Sylvia. And yeah, she had her time to shine and she was absolutely amazing. And I hope I'm getting everyone's pronouns correctly. Please shout at me if I'm not, because I don't want to be that person. My final mention is to Sweeney, who plays the role of Silvio Carrillo, amongst others. But their voice in their like song in, I don't know where I did that, their song in Act 2 was literally stunning, and it had such like humour to it, and I just absolutely loved it. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because it was just a great song, and it had a lovely feel to it. There we go. So would I recommend going to see this show? Yes. I am still thinking about it now. It's definitely one of those shows that you don't just sit, you watch and you walk away from it. It stays with you long after you see the show. Just like Amelia did with me, this will still be in my head for many weeks to come. It has such emotion, it has such power, it is so cleverly done, and yeah, it's just one of those shows which I feel like more women, like definitely young women, should go and watch. Obviously the price of theatre right now is not cheap, and it can be difficult to get out there and to see these shows, but it's definitely one that I feel needs to have some further life, because it's just so thought-provoking, so just marvellous. Saying that, it's not one I would rush back and go and watch over and over again. It's more one that you watch and you absorb and take in and acknowledge, and yeah, I will definitely be thinking about it for quite a long time. The show is currently playing at the Old Vic, and it is playing until the 8th of April 2023. So there's not much time left to see it, so if you are thinking about it, I would 100% recommend going to check it out. And I also don't feel like this is the end. I feel like at somewhere down the line we will get Sylvia strive forth again. But yeah, there we go. I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for more fun and frolics next time. Whew. And scene. Feel free to leave me a comment down below if you had any thoughts or feelings. If you've seen the show, tell me what you thought of it. And yeah, I'm going to leave you because I'm wittering and going around in a circle. Goodbye. Love you lots. See you later.